The body lies in the stairwell between the second and third floors. A woman, perhaps 40 years old, perhaps younger. Starvation makes everyone look ancient. She wears a dark coat, good wool, pre-war quality. Her feet are bare. Katya Sokolova stops. She cannot walk past, cannot unsee. The woman has been dead less than an hour. The cold preserves everything, keeps the body from decay, keeps the face almost peaceful. Katya's hands shake inside threadbare mittens. Not from cold, not entirely. She knows this woman, lived 2 floors down, had a son in the Red Army, the coat is the same size as Katya's daughter would wear. Behind a closed door, someone coughs. A wet, rattling sound. Then silence. Always silence in the building now. Silence means death. Silence means one less mouth competing for bread. Katya looks at the coat again. Good wool. Thick. Marina is 8 years old and weighs less than 20 kilograms. The coat Marina wears now has holes in both elbows. The cold comes through. The cold kills as surely as hunger. This is the calculus of survival. This is February 1942 in Leningrad. This is what the siege has made of human beings. Katya reaches down. Her fingers touch the wool. Quality fabric. German machines cannot break this coat, cannot burn it, cannot shell it to pieces. But German artillery has killed the woman who wore it. She pulls her hand back, stands, continues climbing the stairs. Each step requires thought, deliberate effort. Her legs are swollen with dystrophy. Her heart beats irregularly. She has not seen her reflection in weeks. There are no working mirrors, no reason to look. 7 flights up. 7 flights that once took 90 seconds now take 17 minutes. She counts each step. Counting helps. Counting means the mind still functions, still processes, still fights against the fog that precedes death. At the 4th floor landing, she stops again. Breathes. The air tastes of cold and coal smoke and something else. Something sweet and terrible that has been hanging over Leningrad since December. The smell of death. Katya pushes open the door to apartment 41. Home. The word means something different now. Home is 3 rooms. No heat, no water, no electricity. Home is where Marina waits. Mama? The voice comes from the corner. From beneath every blanket they own piled into a nest, from beneath coats and curtains and yesterday's Pravda newspaper. I am here, my little son. Marina's face appears. Thin, so thin the skull shows through translucent skin, but alive, still alive. The greatest victory Katya has won in 143 days of siege. Did you get bread? The question every child in Leningrad asks, the only question that matters. I will get bread today, I promise. Katya has learned to lie, another skill the siege teaches, another piece of herself that she has traded for Marina's survival. It is 5:17 in the morning, February 23rd, 1942. In 3 hours, the bread ration will be distributed at the bakery on Nevsky Prospect. In 3 hours, Katya must stand in line with 200 other women, must fight for 125 grams of bread, must trade 4 hours of waiting in -30-degree cold for a piece of sawdust mixed with cellulose that the government calls nutrition. In 3 hours, she must become an animal again. But first, there is the coat in the stairwell, the coat that haunts her, the coat that Marina needs. Darkness fills the apartment, permanent darkness. The windows are boarded with plywood protection against German artillery shells that rain down randomly, protection against the blast waves that shatter glass and kill children in their sleep. Katya lights a small candle stub, precious, irreplaceable, but necessary to see Marina's face, to confirm life continues. Each morning begins with this ritual, this verification that her daughter survived another night. Are you cold, my love? No, Mama. A lie. Marina's lips are blue. Her small body shivers constantly under the blankets. But children learn quickly. Learn that complaining changes nothing. Learn that Mama cannot produce heat from empty air. Katya moves to the small iron stove in the corner. The burjuika, they call it, bourgeois stove. A cruel joke. There is nothing bourgeois in Leningrad now. Class distinctions died with the first wave of starvation. Professors and factory workers freeze equally, die equally. She opens the stove door, examines yesterday's ashes, still warm, slightly. She adds 3 small pieces of wood, furniture legs. They burned the dining table 2 weeks ago, then the chairs, then the bookshelf that held Dmitri's engineering manuals. Dmitri, her husband, Marina's father, somewhere on the Volkhov front, if he still lives. The last letter came in November, 4 months ago, before the siege tightened into strangulation. The wood catches. A small flame. Katya cups her hands around it, worships it, this tiny sun that holds back death for another hour. Mama, I am so hungry. The worst words, the most honest words. Katya closes her eyes, breathes. I know, little son, soon we will have bread. She has 100 grams of bread remaining from yesterday's ration, hidden in a cloth bag, hidden from herself, the temptation to eat it all at once, to fill the screaming emptiness just once, just for an hour of fullness. But 100 grams must last until tonight, must be divided, must be rationed within the ration, 25 grams for breakfast, 25 for lunch, 50 for dinner. The mathematics of survival calculated in crumbs. Katya unwraps the bread. Dark, dense, heavy. It smells of mold and chemicals and desperation. 40% of this bread is sawdust. 20% is cellulose extracted from pine bark. The rest is flour, though calling it flour insults the word. She cuts the portion. Exact, precise. A cook's knife from better days now performs surgery. 25 grams. She places it on Marina's palm. Eat slowly. Make it last. Marina nods, takes the bread, begins to nibble, tiny bites. She has learned this too. Learned that fast eating brings no extra satisfaction, that the stomach cramps harder when filled quickly with nothing. Katya watches her daughter eat, memorizes her face. Each morning feels like the last. Each moment together becomes precious beyond measure. This is what the siege has taught her, that love intensifies when death waits outside the door. Mama, why do you not eat? I am not hungry yet. I will eat later. Another lie. Katya is always hungry. Hunger is the permanent state. Hunger is the background noise of existence. Hunger is the weight that crushes thought and feeling and hope into a single screaming need. But Marina must eat first, must survive. This is not negotiable. The candle burns lower. Katya checks her watch, a gift from Dmitri on their wedding day. Still running, still marking time in a city where time has stopped meaning anything beyond the gap between rations. 6:47 in the morning. The bread distribution begins at 8:30. The line starts forming at 7. Katya must leave soon, must walk the 2 kilometers to Nevsky Prospect, must stand in the cold with women who have become hollow-eyed ghosts. But first, she must prepare for work. After the bread line comes the factory. 8 hours operating a lathe. 8 hours producing artillery shells. 8 hours of labor that earns 250 grams of bread instead of 125. The worker's ration. The reason Katya still lives. The reason she can feed Marina and herself, both barely. She moves to the small basin, fills it with snow from the windowsill, melts it over the stove, washes her face with freezing water. The shock helps, clears the fog, reminds her body that it still functions. Marina watches from the blanket nest. Will you come home for lunch? No, my son. I work until 5, but I will bring bread when I return. Promise? I promise. Katya pulls on her factory clothes. 3 layers. Wool dress over cotton, shift over wool undergarments. Thick stockings with holes in the heels. Boots that leak. The coat she wears is thin. Pre-war fashion coat, designed for elegance, not survival. The coat in the stairwell is thicker. The thought returns, insistent, demanding. Marina needs that coat. The stairwell is darker than the apartment. No candles here, no light except what filters through the shell-damaged roof. Katya descends slowly, counts the steps, focuses on not falling. The body remains on the second-floor landing. Katya stops, looks. The woman's face is peaceful. Death from starvation is slow, gentle at the end. The body simply stops, gives up, surrenders to the cold. The coat is unbuttoned, easy to remove. No one watches, no one would judge. Everyone in Leningrad understands. Survival requires taking from the dead, requires betraying every civilized instinct, requires becoming something else. Katya reaches down. Her hands shake. She grips the coat collar, pulls gently. The body shifts. The head lolls to one side. Katya jerks her hands back, stands, runs down the stairs, runs until she bursts through the building's front door into the frozen street. The cold hits like a physical blow. -30 degrees Celsius. The air burns in her lungs. Ice crystals form on her eyelashes. She gasps, bends over, vomits bile. Nothing else remains in her stomach. When she stands again, the street spreads before her like a photograph of the end of the world. Leningrad, February 1942. The city that once held 3 million people now holds less than 700,000. The rest are dead, or evacuated, or missing in the gaps where statistics fail to account for human catastrophe. Bodies line the sidewalks, covered in snow, anonymous humps of frozen flesh waiting for collection teams that come irregularly, sometimes weekly, sometimes never. The city has run out of trucks, run out of fuel, run out of strength to dispose of its dead. Katya walks down the center of Sadovaya Street. Her feet crunch on ice and snow. The sound echoes. No other sounds exist. No cars, no trams, no voices. The city is silent except for occasional artillery shells, except for the sound of death arriving. She passes a woman pulling a sled. On the sled rests a small bundle wrapped in sheets, a child-sized bundle. The woman's face is blank, empty. She pulls the sled toward the cemetery, toward the mass graves where thousands lie in frozen ground waiting for spring thaw and proper burial. Spring seems impossible, an abstract concept, a fairy tale from before the siege. Katya turns onto Nevsky Prospect, Leningrad's Grand Boulevard, once lined with shops and cafes and theaters, now a corridor of broken windows and shelled buildings and desperate people shuffling toward the bread distribution point. The line is already forming. 200 women, maybe more. They stand motionless, conserving energy. No one speaks. Speaking requires calories they cannot spare. Katya takes her place at the back. The woman ahead of her is young, perhaps 25. Her face is old. Starvation ages everyone equally. Time passes. The line does not move. Behind the bakery doors, workers prepare the bread, weigh the portions, count the ration cards. The process is precise, bureaucratic, Soviet efficiency applied to mass starvation. Katya's feet go numb, then her fingers, then her face. The cold no longer hurts. This is dangerous. This is the beginning of freezing to death. She stamps her feet, waves her arms, forces blood to move. The woman ahead turns slightly, looks at Katya. Their eyes meet. No words pass between them. None are needed. They understand each other perfectly, understand that they are both dying slowly, understand that today they survive. Tomorrow is uncertain. At 8:30 exactly, the bakery doors open. The line surges forward. Women press together. Desperation creates pressure. Katya pushes. So does everyone else. The sick, the weak, the dying, all pushing toward bread. A fight breaks out near the front. Two women grappling over a dropped ration card. They fall. Others step over them. Keep moving. Keep pressing forward. The bread matters more than dignity, more than mercy, more than anything. Katya reaches the counter at 9:15. 45 minutes of standing, 45 minutes of cold, 45 minutes of watching humanity reduce itself to need. She presents her ration card and Marina's. The clerk examines them, stamps them, reaches beneath the counter, pulls out 2 pieces of bread, weighs them on a scale, 125 grams each. Exact. Katya takes the bread, wraps it carefully in cloth, places it inside her coat against her body. Her body heat will keep it from freezing solid. 250 grams of bread, worth more than gold, worth more than diamonds, worth exactly one more day of life. The factory squats on the Neva riverbank like a wounded beast. Red brick, shattered windows, roof damaged by German bombers in November. Snow drifts through holes in the ceiling. Ice covers the concrete floors. Kirov Factory Number 23. Once produced tractors, now produces 76mm shells for Soviet artillery. The machines still run. The workers still come. Production continues because production must continue. Because if Leningrad stops fighting, Leningrad dies. Katya arrives at 10:17, late. The shift started at 10. She will lose production points, will have her ration reduced if this becomes habit. But she had to get bread first, had to secure Marina's survival before her own. She enters through the damaged loading dock, passes through the checkpoint where a Red Army guard examines her factory pass. His face is gaunt, his uniform hangs loose. Even soldiers starve in Leningrad. Even soldiers watch their strength drain away. Late, Comrade Sokolova, I apologize. The bread line was long. He waves her through. No punishment today. Everyone understands. Everyone makes allowances that would have been unthinkable 6 months ago. The factory floor spreads before her, vast, dark, illuminated by scattered electric bulbs that flicker with irregular power. The electricity comes from the Volkhov power station, when it comes at all. Most days, the power cuts out for hours. Work stops. Production halts. Everyone waits in the freezing dark. 50 women work the morning shift. 50 ghosts operating lathes and presses and stamping machines. They move slowly, carefully, conserving every movement, making each action count. Katya finds her station. Lathe number 17. Her machine, her responsibility. She has operated this lathe for 11 months, since April 1941, since before the Germans surrounded the city, since before the word siege entered daily vocabulary. She removes her coat, hangs it on a hook. The factory is marginally warmer than outside. Not warm, just less cold. The machines generate heat. The bodies generate heat. It is enough to prevent immediate freezing. Anna Petrovna works the adjacent lathe, 53 years old, grandmother, widow. Her husband died in the first month of the siege. Heart attack brought on by starvation. Her son fights somewhere near Moscow. If he lives, Katya, you look terrible. Thank you, Anna. You look beautiful as always. A joke. Humor helps maintain humanity, helps remember that they are still women with names and personalities and memories of laughter. Anna does not smile. Smiling requires energy. Did you get bread? Yes. You? Yes. 125 grams. A feast. Another joke. Bitterness wrapped in sarcasm. This is how they cope, how they process the impossible. Katya turns to her lathe, examines the work order. 20 shells today, 20 brass casings that must be turned to exact specifications. Any deviation means rejection, means wasted materials, means punishment. She loads the first brass cylinder, starts the machine. The lathe spins. The cutting tool bites into metal. Shavings spray across concrete. The smell of hot brass fills the air. Familiar, comforting. This work she can control. This task she can complete. In a world of chaos and starvation and death, she can make 20 perfect shells. Hours pass. Katya works mechanically. Her hands know the movements. Her body performs without thought. This is survival too. This is how the mind preserves itself. By reducing consciousness to simple, repetitive action. At noon, the foreman appears. Viktor Ivanovich, 40 years old, party member, exempt from military service due to essential war work. He walks between the machines, inspects production, counts completed pieces. He stops at Katya's station, examines her work, runs his finger along a finished shell casing, checking for imperfections, finding none. Good work, Comrade Sokolova. 14 pieces completed, 6 remaining for the shift. Yes, Comrade Foreman. He leans closer, lowers his voice. There is extra bread available for workers who exceed quota. Katya's heart accelerates. Extra bread. The words are magic. Salvation, life. How much extra quota required? 10 pieces above standard, 30 shells instead of 20. 30 shells, 50% increase. Impossible. She barely completes 20 in 8 hours. Her hands shake from malnutrition. Her vision blurs. Her body is failing. But extra bread means Marina lives another day, another week, another month. How much extra bread? 50 grams? 50 grams. 1/4 of a day's ration. Enough to make the difference between slow death and slow survival. I will try, Comrade Foreman. Good. Production quotas must be met. The motherland demands it. The party expects it. He moves to the next station, delivers the same speech, makes the same offer, extracting more labor from bodies that have nothing left to give. Katya returns to work, increases her pace, moves faster, works through the pain in her back, through the burning in her lungs, through the fog that fills her mind. 1 shell, 2 shells, 3 shells. The count climbs. Her hands bleed from cuts. She does not stop, cannot stop. At 1:30, the air raid siren screams. The sound pierces through the factory, rises and falls. The wail that means German bombers approach. That means death falls from the sky. Everyone stops working, looks up, waits. The foreman's voice echoes across the factory floor. All workers to shelters. Now, move quickly but do not run. The women abandon their machines, file toward the basement shelter, moving fast despite exhaustion. Fear provides energy. Adrenaline fuels dying bodies. Katya runs down the metal stairs, into the concrete bunker beneath the factory. 200 people crowd into a space designed for 100. They press together, smell each other's fear, wait for the bombs. The first explosion comes 30 seconds later, distant, maybe 2 kilometers away, then closer still. The factory building shakes. Dust falls from ceiling cracks. The lights flicker, go out. Darkness swallows everything. Someone screams. Others shush her. Screaming helps nothing. Screaming wastes air. Katya stands in the darkness, thinks of Marina, alone in the apartment, alone under blankets. What if a bomb hits their building? What if German artillery finds apartment 41? What if she dies here, and Marina dies there, and they die separately without goodbye? The bombing continues. 15 minutes, 20, 30. The building shakes with each impact. Somewhere above, glass shatters. Metal screams. Destruction compounds upon destruction. Then silence. The all-clear siren sounds, long, steady, safe, for now. The lights flicker back on. The women emerge from the shelter, climb the stairs, return to the factory floor. Smoke fills the space. A hole gapes in the western wall where a bomb penetrated. Daylight streams through. Cold air rushes in. 3 machines are destroyed. Twisted metal, useless. But the factory still stands. Production can continue. The war demands shells. The war receives shells. Katya returns to her lathe. It survived undamaged. She loads another brass cylinder, starts the machine, returns to work. But she has lost 40 minutes. 40 minutes that she needed to complete 30 shells. The extra bread slips further from reach. At 2 o'clock, the lunch break arrives. 15 minutes. The women gather in the break room, a cold concrete space with broken windows and no heat. Katya unwraps her bread portion, 25 grams. She eats it slowly, each bite a meditation, each swallow an act of will. The bread tastes like sawdust because it is sawdust, but it fills the screaming void in her stomach for a few minutes. Anna sits beside her, unwraps her own bread, eats in silence. They have stopped making conversation. Conversation requires energy. Across the room, another woman collapses, simply falls from her chair, unconscious, possibly dead. 2 others lift her, carry her to the medical station, a room with no medicine, a doctor with no supplies, a place where women go to die more comfortably. No one comments. Death is ordinary now, unremarkable, expected. Anna leans close to Katya, whispers, "I heard about extra bread for quota. Yes, I am trying. You cannot make 30 shells. No one can. We are too weak. I must try. Marina needs food." Anna's face softens. She has seen Marina, knows what Katya fights for. There is another way. Katya looks at her, waits. Pyotr Mikhailovich, the clerk in supply. He has access to extra rations. How? He trades favors. The meaning is clear, unstated but understood. Pyotr Mikhailovich is 48 years old, married, father of 3. He has access to the supply warehouse, has access to food that should go to workers but can be diverted for a price. What kind of favors? Anna shrugs. The kind that men have always demanded from women. the kind that wars make commonplace. Katya's stomach turns, not from hunger, from disgust, from the recognition of what she is being asked to consider. No, I cannot. Dmitri is dead, Katya, or captured, or missing. He is not coming back. You do not know that. I know that Marina is alive. I know that she needs food. I know that your body is failing. I know that in 3 weeks you will be too weak to work. In 4 weeks you will die. In 5 weeks Marina will follow you. The words hit like artillery shells, each one true, each one undeniable. Katya knows the timeline, has calculated it herself in the dark hours of night, has measured the weight of her body, has felt the weakness spreading through her limbs. I cannot betray Dmitri. Dmitri is not here. You are. Marina is. Survival is not betrayal. The lunch break ends. The women return to their machines. Katya loads another brass cylinder, starts the lathe, works faster, pushes harder. She will make 30 shells. Will earn the extra bread, will not surrender the last pieces of her soul for food. But the calculation haunts her. How long can principle last against starvation? How many days of hunger before morality becomes luxury? How far can a mother go to save her child before she becomes someone her child should not know? At 3:47, Katya completes her 26th shell. Her hands shake uncontrollably. Her vision tunnels. She can barely stand. The machine swims in and out of focus. 4 more shells. 4 more pieces. 2 hours remain in the shift. It is possible. Barely. She reaches for another brass cylinder. Her hand misses. Tries again. Grabs it. Loads it into the lathe. Starts the machine. The cutting tool bites into brass. Shavings spray. The familiar rhythm continues. Katya grips the controls, focuses everything on keeping her hands steady, on making this piece perfect. On meeting quota +10, 15 minutes pass. Shell 27 completes. Perfect. Exact specifications. Katya sets it aside, reaches for another cylinder. Her hand closes on empty air. She blinks, looks down. The brass supply bin is empty. No, impossible. There should be 20 more pieces, enough for the rest of the shift, enough for everyone to complete quota. She looks around. Other women are stopping, checking their bins, finding them empty. Confusion spreads across the factory floor. Viktor Ivanovich appears. His face is pale. Attention. The brass shipment did not arrive today. Supply chain disruption. German shelling on the rail line. Silence greets his announcement. Then angry murmurs. Then someone shouts, "But we need to make quota." I understand. We will receive more brass tomorrow. Resume work then. What about today's quota? What about our rations? Viktor hesitates. Katya sees the calculation in his eyes, the impossible mathematics of Soviet bureaucracy. The workers need full rations to have strength to work, but full rations require meeting quotas. Without materials, quotas cannot be met. Without meeting quotas, rations are reduced. With reduced rations, workers die. With dead workers, quotas definitely cannot be met. The logic eats itself, collapses, reveals the fundamental insanity of the siege. You will receive standard rations. This production shortage is not your fault. What about extra rations for those who exceeded quota? Viktor's eyes find Katya. She has completed 26 shells, 30% above standard, but not the 50% required for extra bread. Extra rations are only for those who completed quota +10, those who completed 30 pieces. No one has completed 30 pieces. No one has the extra 50 grams. The women begin leaving, gathering their coats, shuffling toward the exit. The shift ends early. There is no work without materials, no point in standing beside silent machines. Katya remains at her station, stares at the 26 perfect shells, 26 pieces that are not enough, not quite enough. Anna approaches, places a hand on Katya's shoulder. Come, go home to Marina. Tomorrow there will be brass. Tomorrow Marina will still be hungry. Tomorrow you will both still be alive. That is victory enough. They walk together toward the exit, through the damaged factory, past the destroyed machines, into the frozen twilight of late afternoon. Outside, the city waits, silent, deadly, indifferent to their suffering. Katya begins the long walk home. The journey back takes longer than the journey there. Katya's body is failing. Each step requires conscious effort, deliberate command. Her legs want to stop, want to sit, want to surrender to the cold and the exhaustion and the hunger. She passes bodies, more than this morning. The daily collection teams have not reached this district yet, will not reach it today. The bodies will freeze, will remain until tomorrow, or the day after, or never. One body is small, child-sized. Katya looks away, cannot process this, cannot allow her mind to imagine Marina cold and still on a frozen sidewalk. If she imagines it, it becomes possible. If it becomes possible, it becomes inevitable. She forces her feet to move. One step, another, another. Counting helps. Numbers provide structure, prevent thinking about what cannot be thought. At the corner of Sadovaya and Voznesensky, a truck idles. Rare, precious fuel burned for important purposes. Katya approaches carefully, sees Red Army soldiers loading bodies, the daily dead, the harvest of starvation. A soldier sees her watching, young, maybe 19. His face is hard, made old by what he has seen. Move along, grandmother. Grandmother, Katya is 31 years old, but starvation makes everyone ancient. She nods, continues walking. The apartment building appears ahead, still standing. No new shell damage, small mercies, tiny victories. Katya climbs the stairs, slower than this morning, weaker than this morning. Her heart pounds irregularly, skips beats, protests the effort. The body on the second-floor landing has been moved. Someone took it, someone braver than Katya, someone more desperate, or someone more practical. The coat is gone too. Katya feels relief and shame, relief that the decision was taken from her, shame that she considered it, that she wanted it, that she imagined Marina wearing a dead woman's coat. What has she become? What has the siege made of her? She reaches the 7th floor, pushes open the apartment door, calls out, "Marina," silence. Terror floods through her, pure, absolute. "Marina." "Mama?" The voice comes from the blanket nest, weak, small, but alive. Katya rushes across the room, kneels beside her daughter, pulls back the blankets, sees Marina's face, pale, thin, but breathing, living. "I am here, little son. I am here." Marina's arms reach out, wrap around Katya's neck, so thin, bones covered by skin, no fat, no muscle, just determination to continue existing. They hold each other, mother and daughter, survivors. For now, "Did you bring bread, Mama?" Always the same question, the only question. Katya unwraps the cloth bundle, 2 pieces of bread, 125 grams each. The rations from this morning, untouched. She gives one piece to Marina, watches her daughter eat. Slow, careful, making it last. Katya should eat her own portion, needs the calories, needs the strength, but watching Marina eat is more satisfying than eating herself. This is what motherhood has become, vicarious survival. Mama, why do you not eat? I will eat later. I want to watch you first. Marina finishes the bread, licks her fingers, captures every crumb. Can I have more tomorrow? Yes. Tomorrow there will be more bread? A promise Katya cannot guarantee, but must make, must believe, must enforce through will and work and the refusal to surrender. Act 3. The reckoning, the return. Evening arrives. The apartment grows darker, colder. Katya lights the Burzwika stove, burns 3 more furniture legs. The dining table is nearly gone. After that comes the bedroom furniture. After that, the floorboards. After that, nothing. She melts snow for water, makes ersatz tea from burnt grain and hope. The liquid is hot. That is its only virtue. But hot liquid fills the stomach temporarily, tricks the body into believing it consumed something valuable. Marina drinks her tea, holds the cup with both hands, absorbing the warmth. Mama, tell me about before. Before. The word carries infinite weight. Before the war. Before the siege. Before hunger became permanent. Before death became ordinary. What do you want to hear? Tell me about the park, the summer garden. Katya closes her eyes. Remembers. The summer garden was beautiful. Trees and flowers and fountains. We walked there on Sundays. You fed the birds, pigeons and sparrows. Were there always birds? Yes, many birds. Marina is silent, thinking. She has not seen a living bird in months. The birds fled the city, or were eaten, or died. Nothing flies over Leningrad anymore except German bombers. Will the birds come back? Yes, when the war ends, when spring comes, the birds will return. When will the war end? The question every child asks. The question no adult can answer honestly. Soon, little son. Soon, another lie. The comfortable kind, the necessary kind, the kind that allows children to sleep at night. Marina yawns. Exhaustion pulls her toward unconsciousness. Katya helps her daughter settle into the blanket nest, tucks every layer carefully, creates a cocoon of warmth in the frozen apartment. Good night, Mama. I love you. I love you too, my little son. Sleep now. Marina's eyes close. Her breathing slows, deepens. She sleeps the sleep of the starving profound, heavy, difficult to wake from, the body conserving every possible calorie. Katya sits beside her, watches her daughter's chest rise and fall, counts the breaths, 30 per minute, too fast, the heart working too hard, the body struggling to maintain basic functions. How much longer can this continue? How many more days before Marina's body gives up, before the arithmetic of starvation reaches its inevitable conclusion? Katya removes her daughter's ration card from its hiding place, examines it by candlelight. The stamps for this month are nearly used. 5 days remain in February. 5 more days of 125 grams daily. Then March begins. New stamps, new month, new probability of survival. If they reach March, if the city holds, if the Germans do not break through the ice road across Lake Ladoga, the road of life, the only supply line, the thin thread connecting Leningrad to the rest of the Soviet Union. If that thread breaks, Leningrad dies. All of it, everyone, no exceptions. Katya stands, moves to the window, pulls aside the blackout curtain slightly, looks out at the frozen city. Leningrad stretches into darkness. No lights, no movement, no signs of life, just buildings and snow and death. A city of ghosts inhabited by the dying. Somewhere in this darkness, 700,000 people fight the same battle, mothers and fathers and children, workers and soldiers and doctors, all struggling against the same enemy. Not the Germans, not really. The Germans simply surround the city. The real enemy is inside: hunger, cold, despair. These are the enemies that kill most efficiently. Katya lets the curtain fall, returns to the stove, adds one more piece of wood. The fire flares briefly, then settles, provides minimal warmth, barely enough. She eats her bread portion finally, 25 grams, chews slowly, makes it last. The sawdust texture fills her mouth. She swallows, feels it travel down her throat, enter her stomach, provide temporary relief from the screaming emptiness. Not enough. Never enough. But something, sufficient for one more night. Katya lies down beside Marina, pulls the blankets over both of them, shares body heat, shares breath, shares life. In the darkness, her mind wanders, thinks of Dmitri, wonders if he still lives, wonders if he knows what has happened to Leningrad, if he understands the hell his family endures. The last letter said he was well, said the unit was holding position, said he would come home when the war ended. Optimistic words written in November, before the worst of winter, before the daily death toll exceeded 4,000. Does he still live? Or does his body lie frozen in some forest? Has he been captured, sent to a German prison camp where starvation is equally certain? She cannot know, cannot change it, can only survive today, tomorrow, the day after, until the war ends or death comes, whichever arrives first. Marina stirs, speaks in her sleep. Papa, Papa is coming home. The words break Katya's heart. Reform it, break it again. Marina dreams of reunion, of family restored, of normalcy returned, dreams that may be lies, probably are lies, but necessary lies, lies that allow survival. Katya pulls her daughter closer, whispers into her hair. Yes, little son, Papa will come home, when the war ends, when spring comes, when the birds return. She believes none of it, hopes for all of it. Contradiction is the nature of survival, believing the impossible while accepting the probable, living for tomorrow while dying today. The candle burns lower, gutters, goes out. Darkness fills the apartment completely. Katya lies in the blackness, listens to Marina breathe, counts each breath like counting treasure. Tomorrow she will return to the factory, will operate the lathe, will produce shells for artillery that might kill German soldiers who created this siege. Small revenge, meaningless victory, but necessary work. Tomorrow Marina will wake hungry, will ask for bread, will receive 125 grams of sawdust and cellulose and whatever the bakers can scrape together, will eat it slowly, will survive one more day. Tomorrow the siege continues, day 144 of 900, 856 days remaining. Although no one knows this yet, no one can imagine that Leningrad will endure for 2 more years, that children currently alive will die before the blockade breaks, that hundreds of thousands more will freeze and starve and simply disappear. History is being written in suffering, in the bodies that line the streets, in the mothers who lie awake, counting their children's breaths, in the impossible choices between humanity and survival. Katya made her choice today, chose not to take the dead woman's coat, chose not to trade her body for extra bread, chose to remain herself despite everything. Tomorrow she may choose differently. Hunger changes people, changes what they are willing to do, what they are capable of doing. The siege has taught her this, has shown her that humans are more flexible than they believe, that morality bends under sufficient pressure, that survival requires compromises that once seemed unthinkable. But tonight, she is still Katya Sokolova, still Marina's mother, still Dmitri's wife, still human. She holds these identities close, protects them, knows they are fragile, knows the siege can take them away, one day at a time, one compromise at a time, one betrayal of self at a time, but not today. Today she survived without losing everything. Today she brought bread home. Today Marina lives. This is victory, small, insufficient, but real. Outside, the temperature drops. -32 degrees Celsius, cold enough to freeze vodka, cold enough to kill exposed flesh in minutes, cold enough to make every breath painful. Inside, 2 hearts beat, 2 lives continue. 2 people refuse to surrender to the mathematics of starvation. The siege will not break them today, will not defeat them today, will not erase them from the world today. Tomorrow is uncertain. Tomorrow is dangerous. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. But tonight, they have bread, they have warmth, they have each other. Tonight, they survive. And survival is everything.